Hello there, welcome to another episode of World of Tanks with Gainey Titan. We're here on Sacred Valley War and we're in the Cromwell B. I have two games to show you in this video, both Cromwell B battles, two different maps, one of them Sacred Valley War, and the other a later game in Kasserine, the second one after this. So the Sacred Valley game, we're top tier. Mostly tier 6, very strong tier 6. There's some tier 4s left on the on both sides, and a few tier 5s as well, but more tier 5s I think. So it's mostly tier 6, some tier 5s, and fewer tier 4s. In fact, the enemy team would have got 2 tier 4s. Initially I'm going to make a run down here by the edge of the monastery into the centre. Just want to see if there's any enemy tanks heading towards the monastery in the south eastern corner of the map. It used to be a very common thing one time for the southern spawning team to make a very strong push with medium and fast light tanks towards the monastery in the southeastern corner of the map, and it actually gave them a very strong position because you'd get enough tanks in, and with a combination of tanks at the southern side of the monastery and other tanks sniping along the edge of the cap circle area, you'd usually take the monastery, and then you'd have a very strong position to break up the defence of the cap circle. Now you usually couldn't push down off the cap circle, but if your heavy tanks are successful in the northwestern corner, then you'd make it very easy, make it impossible actually to defend the cap circle against the tanks coming out of the northwest. Now I've come in here, artillery's sort of on my position, and I don't have any skills on this tank, so the enemy team anyway aren't pushing along the southern road. If you don't push the southern road to the southeastern corner at the start, you're not going to make it later on. Once enemy tanks become entrenched in the monastery area, once northern spawning tanks become entrenched in the monastery area or just to the north of it, there's just no way you can get along that road. There's no cover. You'll be spotted and you'll be just taken out doing it. But I'm beginning to think, should we say, that this is the reason I pulled back, is that the situation up here in the northwestern corner is not looking too good for our team, and I'm not 100% sure what I can do about it in a Cromwell B. But what I was thinking of doing was coming around the back, just making the bet that there was no enemy tanks in this area. Well, there is a Panzer P2640. He's a tier 4, so that shouldn't really present a lot of a problem. But I was just making the bet that there was no other enemy tanks, so I could slip around the back and start sniping at them from behind and maybe get some of them to chase me. And that would ease the pressure on our defences. However, the enemy have overwhelmed our tanks, and they're actually scattering now, kind of in a pursuit into the base. So that allows me to try and take out tanks one at a time. So we're going to have a go there with that fellow. And there's an ally, one surviving ally of this corner is up here, and he's facing off a Bogatar, and I'm going to try and take him out, or take out the Bogatar, or at least assist him. Now I start bouncing shots off the Bogatar because of the angle of the armour and the height at which I'm shooting. But the Bogatar switched his attention to me, which he shouldn't have done. He had a better chance of taking out the Italian tank. It's an Italian tank, isn't it? Yeah, P43. He had a better chance of taking out the P43. The P43 unfortunately comes around the corner facing a KV2, and he made the mistake of stopping and reversing. You don't stop and reverse when you see KV2. You press the accelerator, drive forward and hope for the best. It's really the only option. Turret rotation is, as you can see, abysmal on KV2s, and I'm in serious trouble now, but I've set the KV2 on fire. The Achilles is going to wipe me out if I don't get rid of the KV2. But again, I had to prioritise getting rid of the KV2 because he was reloaded at that stage. If he brought the gun to bear, I was finished. And if I took out the KV2, he was a definite one-shot. I wasn't too sure what health the Achilles had. Now I've decided to head back down to assist our guys attacking the cap circle. And as I'm coming along the straight here, I think an enemy tank actually enters our cap circle. So I'll have to turn around in a moment and then come back. Yeah, he's just gone in. So when I hear the siren go off, I'm going to have to turn around without engaging any of the tanks down in this direction. And I have to turn around and defend the base. Now we do have the tank destroyer is actually in a good position to shoot into the base, but he's probably too far away to spot for himself. I don't know anything about it. It's one of those mercenary tanks, I think. Tier 4. But it is, as a tier 4 tank anyway, it's unlikely to have the view range to see up as far as the base. I don't think any of the tier tanks that play Sacred Valley could probably do so. But he can assist me. Now I come along here and I get a lucky shot, and then I screw it up completely. Because what I should have done, I know, there's a couple of things. I misread. I thought that I could get over the ridge here and get into hold down position, but it turns out you can't. The terrain on the other side of the cap circle is actually not hold down to where the Thunderbolt is. I also thought I'd get more assistance from the tank destroyer to the south of me, but he just put that one shot in and didn't put in any more. And I had too much ground to cover and got taken out. What I should have done was come around the other side of the hill that I was hiding behind and use the ridgeline on the other side to peek-a-boom against the Thunderbolt. Now, I don't know if I'd have been any more successful, but this guy's now making a completely wrong play. If we're to win, his only chance is to take out the Thunderbolt. If he goes south, he's facing against an M6, which is probably worse or a tougher opposition than a Thunderbolt. Because it's a heavy tank, he's a tier 4 tank destroyer. Now he looks like he's got a pretty decent gun. I mean, it looks like a long barrel gun anyway, so it's probably got some kind of fairly high velocity. So there's a chance that he'll probably penetrate, but the front of an M6 is probably tougher than the front of a Thunderbolt. Although, probably not by much. But still, the M6 is more or less got full health points, I think. Full hit points, so there's no competition on the hit point department, and he's not trapped in a corner with no place to go. I mean, he could probably have sniped the Thunderbolt from... He could have moved north, sniped the Thunderbolt from locations outside the view range of the Thunderbolt. But by coming down to engage the M6, he was moving into the view range of the M6, and the M6 was going to spot him, and, well, you saw what happened. So I lost this game, and it was, I mean, I do bear a certain amount of responsibility for just playing to the end of it badly, getting a little bit too cocky in my abilities, and too much faith in my ability, really. Now, I came number 1 by experience, got 4 kills, the most damaging kills in the team. Most damaging kills in both teams. But that didn't do us any good, we lost the game anyway. The other game is in Kasserine, which is another actually ideal map for Cromwell B. So, Kasserine, yes, it's pretty good. It's an open map. Kind of maps that you like playing, and I think I like playing in tanks like highly mobile tanks that are decent enough. View ranges and things like that, like the Cromwell B. Once you get into the later middle games, you would say, when gaps start opening up in the line, you have to be very careful at the start. You don't have huge amounts of hit points, and we're not top tier in this particular case, so there's a lot of tanks that can put some serious hurt on us. And some of them we may have trouble penetrating from the front if we run into them. So initially I'm going to sort of push forward a bit. I'm going to scout. Now I do have, because I don't have much skills, I do have a detection range that exceeds my view range. But sometimes you can get in and out, spot a few tanks, and as long as you don't allow yourself to get isolated or covering ground that's just too much open ground where you're too far from cover. I have 2 tank destroyers moving up the centre in parallel with me, and I'm going to take my time, like, just give myself a chance to see things, and we just push up here, and then we're going to stop because I have no support to my immediate rear. I'm on my own up here, so if somebody was coming down on a fast tank along the extreme western side of the map, I would be in somewhat of a bit of trouble. Well, a comet's been spotted on the other side, and well, we take the shot, but we don't hit with the first one. But the gun's accurate enough like that you can hit from this kind of range, as long as you have the gun fully aimed in, and you give it time to fully aim in, and you're not moving the tank. The turret will cause some bloom, but not as much as the actual moving the body of the tank. Now we got a hit there with a blind shot, but I probably wouldn't get another one. One of our tank destroyers has advanced fairly forward, but there's a VK-3001D making its way in my position, and I've been shot at by invisible tanks behind it. So I'm going to move back so that I'm covered from the invisible tanks, and then we'll pay attention to the 301D, or the 3001D. He's fired a couple of shots at me, but he's missed. He's fired on the move, he hasn't stopped. But then he just drives past me. And at this point he doesn't turn his turret towards me. He doesn't pay any further attention to what I'm doing, and I don't know how he thought he'd get away with that. I mean, it's something I might get away with a really fast tank against a slow tank, but the Cromwell B is not a slow tank. I don't know, you know. Whatever. Anyway, Panther in the open. Can bounce a lot of shots. However, he's got a buddy. The Deadbolt. Deadbolt's put 2 rounds into me, I'd say. So I'm not going to hang around, not with the pair of them coming in. I'm going to pull back to where there are allies, so that there's the odds are in my favour, or at least even. This guy up here on the ridge, we'll pull back to near him, and we'll come around the other side of the hill, so the Panther hopefully is between an obstacle and me, and it's just me and the Deadbolt and the tank behind me. So there's the Deadbolt in the open, and he's giving me his flank, so we start putting rounds into him. Another couple of rounds, and he's also taking fire from behind me. And that's it. 2 was shot him, and he's out of the picture, so it's just the Panther now on his own. And I'm going to take the risk that the Panther's on his own, and I'm going to push forward. I mean, I still had an option if somebody else got lit up. I could turn, even here, I could turn off to my right, and I'd get into low ground. And the Panther would have to present his side to the tank that's behind me in order to chase me and cross that territory, which would not be to the Panther's advantage. But nobody shot me, and I'm taking out or attacking the Panther, so I reckon there's nobody up here. There are 2 tank destroyers, and they haven't been lit up yet. And they haven't been lit up by the tank destroyers of ours. I don't remember them being lit up, so I suspect they're either back around the base or they're on the eastern side of the map. There might be 1 tank destroyer somewhere near the base, and artillery, of course, could be near the base. And sure enough, there's a Steering Meal now being observed just at the edge of the wadi. He's already engaged in KV-15. So I've gotten a round into him. We just close the distance, and we get another round into him, and we just keep going. As long as we don't sit in front of that gun, we're okay. Don't manage to take him out, but we've gotten a few more damaging ribbons, and now we go looking to see if we can find artillery, or well, the other tank destroyer is much further down. He's on the other side of the central wadi, and we're not going to bother with him. But we'll have a peek around for artillery. He might be around somewhere. There he is. Drive up, fire, nothing happens. Drive through the cap circle, he doesn't take any notice. We're pulled behind him, and no notice. No, oh, he's a bit of an irritated wiggle there. What's that banging noise behind me, eh? And that's it. Now, I don't think there's any need for us to cap. We should be able to dominate our own cap circle. The 2 tanks to the south should be able to do that easily enough without exposing themselves overly much, and prevent anybody from capping, and we might as well go kill the rest of them. So off I go. There's a P-43 bis down there, and I reckon we'll have a go at him. He's going into the low ground. He's getting away from the heavy tanks, so I'm coming down into the low ground after him, and we'll just see how we get on. Round the corner, we fire, we miss. He does not miss. He actually hit me there and did quite a bit of damage. It was rather nasty. I fire again, and I think I bounced that one, and I fire again, and I hit that one, but he's come to better of that exchange, so I don't want to do this again. I want to wait for him to be distracted. I want to wait for an ally to turn up. He's fired at me and missed. I could probably have chanced a shot there. But we'll go round the rocks, and round the rocks we go, and an ally has arrived, and the ally should be in a position to shoot at him in a moment. So I'm going to come around after he's engaged with the ally and put a shot in behind him, because it's another piece of damage for me, and I managed to get the kill. There's one enemy tank remaining, but he's down at the bottom end of the map, well out of my reach, and that's it's game over. So we did 2,326 damage. But strangely enough, actually no. That's interesting, actually. I have 2,472 damage there. Now, I got a ribbon for the blind shoot in the comet. And I wonder, did I actually get the damage? Did the damage increment as well, or was it just the ribbon? Because there was a difference in the score at the end of the match and the score that I got in the final thing. So anyway, I'm number 1 by experience with first class mastery. I must go back and look and check. Hang on a second. Okay, let's go back to the beginning of the battle here in Kasserine Pass. This is the first piece of damage we did in the game to the comet. First round in, 140 points damage, 1 damaging ribbon. Second shot out, 289 total damage, 2 damaging ribbons. Third, the blind fire. We get the damage ribbon, so we know we hit him, but we don't get the damage incremented. Now that's something I didn't know. I wasn't aware that the game didn't track the total damage for blind shots. That it tracked the ribbons, but it didn't actually increment the damage until the end of the game. That's interesting. If they're not showing the cumulative damage, where are they showing us ribbons? I don't know. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a like and a share. If you have not already done so, please subscribe to the channel. I will catch you all again soon. Bye for now.